Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. I'm your mayor, Chewy Plays Nintendo, joined by my co-mayor, Sergio. Today we will discuss the Animal Crossing amiibo in depth, starting from their history and ending with what we want to see in the future. And finally, Sergio also has some special words for the great KK Slider. Hi Sergio, how you doing?
Hello, Chewy. Just surviving the heat. How are you?
Oh, same. It is so
Oh
hot
man.
these days. I'm tired of it. I keep telling Jackie, I say, just can it be fall
I
already? I
know.
just want it to stop being hot. Yeah, so I totally get you right there. Yeah, I guess just a little background for people who listen to this podcast regularly. I've got to be honest, it's been getting harder and harder to think up of stuff to talk about. um, I feel like the drought of information, and there's not really anything to build up to since E3 ended.
Right.
So it's been pretty crazy, but we do have, I think, a pretty full show because I went kind of all out on these Animal Crossing amiibo notes.
Right.
But I'm excited because I love the amiibo. How do you feel about the Animal Crossing amiibo?
Oh, for sure. I love them too. And, we were lucky enough to be introduced, or basically the amiibo cards were introduced because of Animal Crossing, and it makes so much sense. I guess the only other one that would have made sense would have been Pokemon, but Animal Crossing took it first, and pretty much at the end of the day, every character got a card, and that's awesome, because you might think, oh, well, they might just do these special characters and a couple of the fan favorites, but no, they went all out. Every villager that's ever been part of the game has an amiibo card, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and I still think that they could do amiibo cards for Pokemon, just because like there are amiibo cards, like officially Nintendo made amiibo cards of Mario characters for that Mario Sports game on the
Yes.
3DS. So I could, they haven't talked about like amiibo in a long time, but I feel like making amiibo cards of the first 150 Pokemon would be huge. Now
Oh,
that you're
right.
like, just like mentioning it, we've got Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee coming out, and I don't know, I could see them doing it still.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I feel like if they would have announced it by now. In hindsight, it seems like a missed opportunity.
yeah, yeah, and I guess I don't know if they're just like not gonna do it because they feel it will compete in some way with they have Pokemon cards like that has been around as long as Pokemon has been around.
Right.
So like the trading card thing, it's not new. But yeah, I guess for me, I love the Animal Crossing amiibo. I think a lot of people prefer the figures, and I totally get that. But I think I might be in the minority where I love the cards.
Oh,
And it's mostly because I'm nostalgic about it. I think I mentioned this in the Discord, but I've gone to so many conventions and even like Frankensons over in Southern California.
yes.
And I've asked people, I've been like, so you guys got any of those Animal Crossing e-reader cards? And nobody ever did. And so I don't know. I feel like it's me catching up on something that I couldn't do slash afford when I was a kid.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so when the cards came out, I was just like, this is like the e-reader cards that I never got. Of course I want these.
Right. Right.
Of course, the e-reader cards had like some very different things. Like it wasn't just characters. Um, but yeah, we're gonna talk all about that. For now, let's go ahead and get into the history of Animal Crossing Amiibo. And to start, the first game that introduced these Animal Crossing Amiibo was Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. And that came out in 2015. And I gotta be honest, I feel like 2015 was the height of people waiting for the next Animal Crossing game.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, at that point, Animal Crossing New Leaf had been out 2 years everywhere. Um, we got well, Japan got Animal Crossing in 2012,
Hmm.
and then we got it in 2013, at least the rest of the regions, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know, it took them so long for that game to come out, and of course it was worth it because it's a great game. But it got to the point where I was thinking, like, man, is this just like, are they moving it to the Wii U? Is this project getting moved? But after that didn't happen, I was like, oh, I don't know. There's got to be an HD Animal Crossing on the way. And 2015 was when everybody saw it coming. And we'll get into that a little later. But let's go ahead and focus on Happy Home Designer. Um, so this game introduced amiibo cards. What did you think when you first saw these?
Oh, I love the fact that we were gonna have something to collect as far as Animal Crossing was concerned. At that point in time, I was actually saving up to move out, so it was very tough because I wanted my plan at first was to just buy a box of amiibo cards, and then that way I would be sure to have one of each, and then I would just sell or give the rest away. But it was hard for me. I had to save, and I had to resist, and basically I ended up not getting that many. But before that, I was definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I guess at that point I saw them and I was like, well, looks like I'm going to be spending a lot of money. um, Luckily, it all worked out where I essentially I bought a ton of cards and I traded for the ones that I was still missing
Mhm.
and I sold the others on eBay. I went pretty cheap, I think, compared to other people. I only asked for like maybe $1 to $2 per card,
Right.
and because I was just like, I'm just trying to get some of the money back that I spent, you
Yeah. Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
um, so I wasn't trying to like scam people. I think I even at the time Isabel card number one
Mm.
when the first 100 amiibo cards came out. That
Yes.
one was like going for $15 or something. I
Oh
sold
wow.
it for two. So I didn't really
Yeah.
care.
Nice. Nice. No,
um,
because yeah, we know we just want people to have the cards.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know I bought way more cards, and I'm part of the reason people couldn't find them in stores.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
I was just like, I gotta get these out here some way,
Right.
let people find their favorite characters. um, but yeah, I guess I liked them. The series started by them releasing one series, and that had 100 amiibo cards. Eventually, we got up to four series, and the grand total came to 400 amiibo cards, which is insane.
Right.
Yeah, each series had 17 special characters. Those are characters like Tom Nook, Isabel, kind of staples of each game, you
Hmm.
know? Everybody has these characters. They're just kind of special. And that's a good name for them.
Right.
Um, and then the rest of the set, which was what's the number at that point? 83 cards. Yeah, the other
Mm.
83 were all villager cards.
Oh yes. Hmm.
Yeah. And essentially, how they worked was in Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, you eventually got access to the little like amiibo phone. And when you'd call that amiibo phone, I think Lyle was the inventor, um,
Mm.
the little otter,
Yes.
who's Lottie's dad.
Right.
No, uncle.
Uncle, I think.
Uncle? Yeah. Lyle's not married for sure. Um, anyways, so Lyle, you'd call through the phone that he invented, and then it would let you scan in an amiibo card, and that character would show up. You would be able to build them a house. You'd get the special items that are associated with that character, and then you'd make them their design, and then they had a home in your place.
Yes.
From there, you could actually save that design to the amiibo card. So if you like wanted to share it or anything, um, I think it even worked that like there were special items in that you could get as downloadable content in
Hmm.
Happy Home Designer. and that was if you actually like they had monthly kind of challenges.
Mhm.
And when you would compete in one, you would get the special item that is associated with that challenge. And it was usually something like giant, like there was a giant robot, a giant cake, all these giant
Ooh.
items. But I think there was a way, like if you saved a design with one of those items on your amiibo card, it would then share that item if somebody else scanned it in.
Ooh, nice, nice.
I think somebody double check that and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I seem to remember it. But yeah, I guess mostly amiibo cards were used for Happy Home Designer, and that came out kind of summer of 2015,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
From there, it wasn't too long till we got the next set of amiibo slash the next amiibo inspired game, and that was Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And this was finally like the cards, everybody was like, cool, they're cards. That's fine. We want figures, right?
Right.
And Amiibo Festival brought us figures, and that's the best thing Amiibo Festival brought us.
Yes.
So at that point, Amiibo Festival itself came with both an Isabel and a Digby. And it's funny because they were like, Digby's only going to be in this thing for a limited time. And I don't think they ever did that, you
No, right.
know? It just stayed that Digby was always in the case, like with
Yes.
the game.
Right.
Um, yeah, so you got Digby, Isabel, and then three special amiibo cards that were variations on Rosie, Goldie, and Stitches. All very top tier characters, of course.
Mhm.
Um, so with Amiibo Festival, we got eventually 16 amiibo figures. I forget how many came out at once.
Right, because it wasn't all 16 right from the get-go, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it took a little bit. I feel like it maybe took like there were two more waves of
Yes,
amiibo.
right, two extra waves. Hmm.
Yeah, and eventually the number came to 16, and I I loved it when they came out. I know for a little bit I feel like I had kicks, and then at some point I didn't have kicks. Like I was looking at my set and I was
Oh.
like, and I only noticed because I went to a friend's town and they had kicks like scanned in on their town.
Mhm.
And then I was looking at their camper and I was like, I've never seen that camper because I had just like I'd been going through every amiibo
Right.
on Welcome Amiibo, and I was starting with the figures, and I'd finished those and was on to the cards.
Hmm.
But then I saw that Kix camper over there, and I was just like, I no, I've never seen that.
Right.
And so I looked at my set, and I was like, where's Kix? And I don't know, I spent a while looking for them because at one point I had my amiibo all hanging on a wall,
Hmm.
and then they all fell down, and so like I had to like pick them up and put them back up.
Right.
But then I felt like it got lost at that point. But
Right.
eventually I didn't find it, so I just went and bought another Kix
Cool.
amiibo. And I say I bought another because I still believe that I had one before.
Right. Right. You might find it someday.
Yeah, I'm hoping I do. But I don't think I will because we did move.
Ooh.
So, and it didn't show up at that point.
Hmm.
So I guess I never had it. I must have not have had it. But anyways, so the use for the amiibo figures in Amiibo Festival, figures you could use on the main game mode, which was the board game, and you scanned the figure, the dice would roll, your character would move, and then the game would end. Because there's nothing really to Amiibo
That's
Festival.
about it. Right. Right.
Yeah, that's about everything that you can do there. And as far as amiibo cards go, you could use like all of the cards from the 400 amiibo. And what's amazing about this is when you scan them in, they would show up in the plaza, and you know very well that there are HD renders of every character in the
That's right.
game.
That's right.
And Nintendo, come on, you got to be using these things. Tell us where the next game is, first off. Second off, make more amiibo. But so yeah, you could scan them in. Mostly you used the amiibo cards on all of the other games. Um, so the main
Mm.
board game used the figures. The other games kind of just used the cards. Maybe you could use the figures too, though.
Yes.
But I don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like you feel like you could, right?
Yes.
Cool. Um, So yeah, I guess the best game was, of course, Desert Island Escape. You got a lot
Yes.
of cool variety, and it just felt like each character was different. You know, like they all had their different power, their different, I guess, amount of spaces they can move, and a special ability, and their own little personality to the game. You know. So I thought that was really fun
Yes.
and it felt like the most in-depth part of the game, even more in depth than the actual like main game, which was the board game, you know?
Yes, definitely. I wish they would have showcased that more during the initial announcement.
Yeah, I really wish they did. I think more people would have been like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm
Right.
into that." And they would have paid the $60 that I
Right.
paid
In
to.
in great usage of all the cards that either they already had or they would like to get just to play that awesome game.
Yeah. And then there was one thing that you could do on the board game with the amiibo cards, and when you had options to edit the board game, and you did this through like building public works projects, and some of them would like change the path that your board would go through,
Yes.
which was pretty cool. But one of the cool things was you could scan a character's amiibo card in, and their house would pop up there. So you could fill a town with like your favorite villagers.
Right.
And then another thing that you could do outside of that was if you designed a villager's house in Happy Home Designer, you could save that design to the card and then scan it in, and that character would show up on the board with that house that you
Yes.
designed,
That's right.
which was the coolest for me. I designed like a specific set of villagers in my board to see.
Oh, nice.
Um, I also made all their houses, so I like seeing them.
Yeah, and I love how they interact with each other and you see them laughing and just talking. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's got fun little character, but I just wish it was better and it had online.
Yes. Yes.
I would play with you like all the time if it had
Right.
online. um, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the Amiibo story with Amiibo Festival. It was in an interview with the creators of the game. I think Aya Kyogoku kind of led the development of Amiibo Festival, and I think she straight up said during whatever Nintendo Treehouse footage was going on that they essentially made the game because they wanted Animal Crossing Amiibo.
Yes.
um, yeah, so I mean, I don't blame them. We all wanted Animal Crossing Amiibo, but please, next time, if you're gonna make an Animal Crossing party game, make it fun.
Right. Right. I mean, in the way they did it, it makes sense, for the amiibo, and you select your character and you have some control of them. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're completely in control, and maybe that's part of the problem, but it you can see what they were going for with the different figures, the 16, and it makes sense that this is how they approached it. They made the game to sell the figures alongside it, but like you said, it could have been so much more, and it didn't it didn't need it didn't take them it wouldn't have taken them so much extra time or development team members to make it more fun, to add more variety in and to even expand on the Animal Crossing world via a board game. I think it could have been something really special.
Yeah, it could have been fun. I still want them to revisit this one
Yes,
day.
right,
After, the mainline game
right,
is out.
right.
Um, but yeah, just one day. It would be so great. So let's move on. The next game to implement Amiibo was Animal Crossing New Leaf. And they had the Welcome Amiibo update back in 2016. And what's funny is that in 2015, there was an interview about, the whole Amiibo Festival, Happy Home Designer thing. And the team was asked at that point, like the summer before, if there were any plans to have Amiibo usable in New Leaf. And at that time, there wasn't.
Hmm.
But I think they went back to the drawing board and said, okay, let's see how we can get Amiibo into this game and give people more uses out of this. And which is incredibly nice too, because when you think about it, like the Welcome Amiibo update was free. It was so much content was added to the
Yes.
game. So I think it was a great update. I think they did it with the intention of, kind of giving New Leaf a bit more life because they hadn't started working on whatever the next Animal Crossing was. Mostly because we know the main team now was behind Happy Home Designer.
Yes.
So between Happy Home Designer and Welcome Amiibo, like the team was kind of busy with that. And hopefully 2016 was when they started development on the next Animal Crossing.
Right.
That's my guess. Um, but we'll find out if this game
Right.
gets announced ever. So, anyways, yeah, Welcome Amiibo introduced Amiibo cards to New Leaf. And not only that, they added a whole set of 50 Amiibo cards for returning villagers. So, these villagers were in the GameCube game, but have not been reintroduced to the series since then.
Yes.
They featured a new design. The cards featured a new design, which showed the villagers in campers, which are, little RV cars that you can use in Pocket Camp, for example.
Right.
Um, when they were scanned in, at least when these 50 cards were scanned in, the villager would appear in a special campsite, which was added to the game. This campsite usually featured one camper by a special character, and then
Yes.
it had another space for if you scanned in either a figure or one of the 50 camper cards. I guess I really liked these. I liked the new design to them
Hmm.
a lot. Um, I kind of wish now. I mean, this would have been so much more work, but the original series of 400 cards that were
Hmm.
introduced, those the character would just show up and like give you a photo of themselves. I think if you scan them in more, they would
Hmm.
give you different items. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll double check that this week, but their camper wouldn't show up. Like they didn't have campers.
Right.
the
Right.
the only characters that had campers were the amiibo figures and those 50 cards, and then there were special sets of cards that also, one special set, and it was a 6 card set that combined Sanrio characters with Animal Crossing characters. So Sanrio,
Yes.
the company behind Hello Kitty. Yeah, they had a set of cards that only came out in Japan, Europe, and I think Australia.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure, but not 100%. But they never made it to the US.
Man, I know.
I was waiting. I was like, oh no, I'll just wait on this set and
Right.
I'll get it. I'll get it next time when it comes out here. And then it never did, and now it's super expensive. And I'm
Man.
like, I could have bought it for so cheap back then,
Right.
and now I can't. But yeah, I guess there not only were all of the Animal Crossing amiibo compatible with Welcome Amiibo, there were also figures from other series that would work. So
Mm.
you could use the Zelda amiibo, the Splatoon amiibo, and even the Super Smash Bros. Villager amiibo. And
Yes, that's right.
yeah, we got cool little characters out of that. Like we got Wolf Link and Ganon and Medley and just like some fun Zelda themed characters that
Right.
didn't exist in the game before.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was fun to see all those new characters. What did you think? Did you scan any of those like other series characters in?
Yes, I scanned the Zelda ones, and you mentioned that the additional 50 cards. I believe those were a little bit hard to find and very limited. I really wish they hadn't been.
Yeah, the welcome amiibo cards were a lot harder to find. I managed to get quite a lot of them actually,
Hmm.
and like I said, I'm one of the reasons why a lot of these couldn't get found. I eventually traded them for other sets that I think I was missing.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I have one pack of welcome amiibo cards left.
Oh, nice.
Um, because I sold a bunch to a friend in Brazil, and yeah, so the one pack I have left, my plan with it is to actually trade it for um, a set of Sanrio
Right,
cards.
gotcha.
I don't know if that'll ever happen
I mean, you
because
never know, right?
yeah, I've tried. I've put them up before and said, this is all I want. I want Sanrio cards. I think now that they're like really incredibly rare,
Hmm.
it might be easier to pull that trade off, but I haven't tried in a
Yes,
long
right,
time.
right.
Um, Also, like the Sanrio cards, like if you get the European or the Australian pack, I'm assuming it came out in Australia, those just came with all six cards.
Hmm.
Um, if you got the Japanese packs, they only gave you three or two cards. I feel like it might have been two,
Hmm.
but it also might have been three. But you didn't get the whole set that way, and so yeah, I guess I feel like it wouldn't be
Oh,
quite as equivalent because like mine is like a random set of six cards.
yes, right, right. I see what you
Where
mean. I think in Japan they also had them in random sets.
yeah, so whereas if I like went for a full pack of Sanrio cards, like that's the whole set for me. Like
Right,
I'm
right.
I'm good. It's more valuable for them to like open up that pack and sell them each individually,
Yeah, that's right.
versus like keeping the whole pack together and then trading it to me. But hey, if anybody wants to trade me a pack, I'd be happy to take it.
In
um,
in hindsight, I wonder. I think I kind of want to say that I think Nintendo should have sold Welcome Amiibo the update for maybe for about $10 digital download. In a way, I see why it was free. They wanted to promote the new cards and people to use the cards. Just make it free and then people are gonna buy the cards. But considering how limited the release of the new cards was and how hard to find they were, I don't know. I wish maybe Nintendo would have sold the update. I think $10 is really nothing to ask compared to the amount of content that you get, and it would have sold really well and would have made a more profit for Animal Crossing projects.
Yeah, and now that you're saying that, like it would have totally it totally makes sense why they didn't charge because they're expecting people to spend more money on amiibo cards. Like a pack of amiibo cards was $6.
Right.
Um, so if you spent that much on a pack of cards, like that's all money for Nintendo. Um, I think the other thing that's pretty crazy is when the Welcome Amiibo update came out, like I think at that point there was a price drop on Animal Crossing itself. So
Yes.
the Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo, that's a $20 game.
Yes.
That which is crazy. That is so much content for $20 because you get everything that was already in New Leaf and then some. So yeah,
Hmm.
when New Leaf came out, it was $40 and then it dropped to 20 and then there was a huge update and even with that update, it was still $20. And yeah, I think it would have made sense to just like lower it to 30 even.
Hmm. Yes. Right.
Cuz then that would have been like kind of the same thing as them charging $10 for the game.
Yes. So it
But
was it was a great deal for new customers or new people that were new to New Leaf. But for us that we already had it, I mean, we got it for free. It was a great time to be a New Leaf player.
yeah, it was for sure really good. I'm totally always happy that I got this game at launch, but like it's a pretty great deal for everybody who has not played the game yet.
Yes. Hmm.
It's still so great. So yeah, man, I'm just thinking about how great the next one's gonna be because New Leaf really like that upped the game so
Yes.
much. Um, I think it's funny. I know a lot of Animal Crossing fans are still so tied to that first one, and for good reason. Like it's a great game. The first game is so good,
Hmm.
but I think like they should not ignore like how great the rest of the series is, especially with New Leaf. Like just the crazy amount of things that you can do. It's pretty
Right.
amazing.
Right.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and get into the future of Animal Crossing Amiibo because, of course, I don't expect it to die out. I think it's a great. I guess even I expect there to be some amiibo compatibility in the future, at least with
Yes.
Animal Crossing, and they have all of these existing amiibo. So I guess the question I want to ask for you, Sergio, is what do you think, or what do you want to see happen with Animal Crossing amiibo in Animal Crossing Switch?
Okay, so for sure, I agree with you. They should re-release them, both the figures and the cards, especially because not every all the Animal Crossing fans, they don't have all the cards and all the figures that they would want, especially the cards. That's a big difference. The figures you could still find them, and actually you can find a lot of them for sale, but the cards are so hard to find, especially some of the rare ones and some of the 50 camper ones for Welcome Amiibo. Those are really hard to find nowadays. So for sure a re-release. And I'm wondering if it might be better for Nintendo to release the figures individually instead of doing any bundles. At least for the figures that we already have. We got a KK and Cyrus in Greece in a 3 pack. I think it might be better if we sell them individually, just so people can get the ones they need specifically.
Yeah, you're totally right with that. Because I kind of forgot, like, I think Europe got them all individually, but some of
Yes, that's
ours were
right.
like package deals, you know?
Right, right. And I don't know if that works best for them or not, but also for the cards, since there's so many, at least 450, it might be better to just randomize all of them and, just give you a 6 pack of cards and it's completely random, whatever you're going to get. It could be from Series 1, Series 4, it could be from the 50 campers. I think it would be easier for them to make them that way and to package them that way, and it would also make it like more fun and more challenging to collect them all.
Yeah, that would. Oh, it was hard enough keeping track of 100 cards, like each series, you know?
Right.
Um, Because I mean, I guess what I did like about that, like you knew you were getting cards from this specific set. And so I think like as you get closer and closer to finishing up the card set, like it's going to be so much harder to find the ones that
Yes. Oh,
you're
yes, it
missing.
was. It was.
Um, yeah, and then I know you are still missing, like you don't have complete sets of the cards.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great. Would you buy more packs to try to complete those sets?
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. And ideally, if they could still have series 1 through 4, and then have maybe a special set that it's all randomized for people that are brand new to the cards, maybe if they could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think so. I guess for me, in terms of that question, I agree. I totally want to see all the previous amiibo be compatible with the game, you know?
Yes.
Um, like they're already made. Please, like, just let them still work, you know?
Right.
I spent so much time and money getting them all. So I just want to know that I can still use them and still enjoy them. The other thing I want to see with Amiibo, I'm sure they're going to add new characters in this game. Like, New Leaf added both the deer and hamster villagers, so
Yes.
those were brand new characters. I think we'll probably get new species of characters, new characters within the
Ooh.
already existing species.
Yes.
Um, so I think it'll be worth them putting out like another set with new characters, maybe bring back some of the old characters that still haven't returned to the game cuz I think that was almost like 70 characters. I did a count once. And that's a
Yes.
whole lot of characters that haven't been returning, you know?
Right, right,
So yeah, I want to see the older amiibo get re-released too, like you said. Mostly because, I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people are still missing a ton of amiibo cards, and yeah, I just want to see them like have the chance to get the ones, their favorite villagers that they never got a hold of.
right.
I guess, yeah, cards are fun. Let's talk a little bit about the figures because, of course, there are plenty of figures right now, but not nearly enough.
Right.
So, what characters do you want to see get an amiibo figure?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think the OK Crew, OK Motors crew, definitely. That one I can see a three pack because it's three of them. So you would want all three.
Yeah,
So that could be a three pack for sure.
yeah, that easily, like, just give me the three pack because
Yes.
I'm not gonna have one without the other. Like, come on, who do you think I am? I'm not a monster. I agree.
Right, right. And maybe those could offer special features for a camper, assuming we have a camper in the new game.
Oh yeah, what if like oh man. I'm already just thinking of like the options they would give you if with your camper. Maybe I don't know. It'd be amazing. Like what if you see their decked out campers and you're like, "Whoa, what how do I do that?"
Right.
Yeah.
So other characters that I think should get an actual figure. I was thinking the ones that you can get in Pocket Camp, the ones that you can recruit it to be on your campsite. Other than KK Slider and Tom Nook that already have figures. But for example, I was thinking Celeste in her telescope. You could also get Brewster in his coffee coupe. It would be the figure in whatever item they have in Pocket Camp. I know Pascal was recently added, and he's in his little tide pool.
Oh,
So
so
that'd be awesome
cute.
to have. Yes.
Yeah, I guess the one thing is like Celeste does have an amiibo figure. Um, but I would love if she also had the telescope with it, so I'd
Right.
get that one.
Right. Right.
Brewster definitely needs one.
Yes.
That coffee coupe idea is super cute, and I now all I want is a little Pascal in a tide pool
Yes.
because that is the cutest. It is so adorable. I almost want to go back to Pocket Camp just
I
to
know.
spend money and get that.
I know. But it's going back to Leaf tickets and it's very tempting though. It's Pascal.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Right, right. And then this is sort of I know it's a long shot, but I would like to see a slightly taller figure than usual, maybe like a 5 inch DJ KK figure, and it could have like a turntable feature, like you could do the wika 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 from a turntable.
That would be so cool. Yeah, we haven't seen too many of those like giant amiibo. There's been the Pikachu, the Detective Pikachu.
Right.
You have that one, right?
Yes.
That's cool. I do like that one. I never got it. I think I saw it once and then never again.
Right. I wonder. It's probably hard to find nowadays.
Yeah, I bet it is. I don't think they did like a huge release on that
Right.
one.
Right.
The other kind of big one is the Guardian amiibo from Breath of the Wild. Did you ever get that one?
Yes, I have a few of those, and I guess the best big one is the big Yarn Yoshi.
Oh
That was very
yeah.
limited at first,
Y-
right?
yeah, you have that one too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that in your room and I was like, yeah, I never even saw that ever, which is crazy. I don't know what it is about where I am, but I have not seen like a lot of things here. um,
Oh.
I remember when Splatoon 2 came out, I wanted all of the Splatoon 2 amiibo,
Mhm.
and I went to Target. I was the first one there, and they only had one Inkling boy, one Inkling girl, and no squid, no
Right.
Kraken. And I was like, I'm the first one here. Like, how is this it for the stock? Like, that
Right.
was literally it. Like, I bought the only two figures they had.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, I feel like there are just some, like, figures and things that aren't coming to my area.
Right.
Or they're in really, really short supply.
Right.
So I haven't been able to get a bunch of them. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think eventually I did get the Kraken from like Best Buy. I
Oh,
was able to
nice.
order it, and there was a Best Buy nearby, so I did get it there. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not too hard to find future amiibo figures, but it
Mm,
does seem like they're getting to be in shorter supply.
yes, that's a good point, and it's encouraging to shop online. I think that really proves to be the best way to get these. And just to close off on DJ KK, even if they do a regular size amiibo, that's fine. I just think he needs his own separate amiibo from KK Slider.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I would be very interested in that.
Right.
Um, yeah, I guess for my answer, I'm as far as characters go that I feel need amiibo figures, I think they'll probably keep going with like making the special characters amiibo figures.
Yes.
I kind of doubt that they'll make any of the villagers into amiibo figures, but they might with some of them. I know Jackie was like, they should make a Stella amiibo figure because that was always her favorite. Stella, the little
Right.
sheep, very adorable, and a sheep would make such a cute amiibo figure.
Yes. Right. Right.
Yeah, but I did make a list of amiibo or special characters that exist now that don't show up in campers in New Leaf. So I think they would if they had an amiibo figure for these characters, but I'm going to
Yes.
go ahead and list them. There's Harriet, who runs Shampoodle, the hair salon.
Mhm.
There's Leaf, who runs the gardening shop. How do they not have an amiibo
I
figure
know.
of Leaf? Leaf is adorable. So is Harriet. They're also cute.
Yes.
There's Luna. She runs the Dream Suite. There's Katrina, who does the fortunes. There's Porter, who is, running the train station.
Mhm.
There's LaBelle, one of the Able sisters. There's Mabel, which I'm surprised they didn't
I
pick
know.
Mabel. Like she's the one like you build a relationship with.
Yes.
She's like,
That would have been a nice three pack.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. LaBelle, Mabel, and Sable. That's the three pack
It
right
just
there.
makes so much sense.
Who wouldn't have gotten that? Come on. There's Gracie, who runs, Gracie Grace.
Mhm.
There's Pelly, Pete, and Phyllis, all who work at the post office. There's Lyle, sleazy insurance salesman turned happy home agent. There's everybody's favorite fox, Crazy
Ooh.
Red. There's Shrunk, Dr. Shrunk, not a comedian, but also not a doctor. There's Tortimer. We don't have. I feel like almost hurt for Tortimer that he does not have a figure,
Right.
considering like he's such a major role in the first three games as the
Yes.
mayor.
Right.
And as Cornimer, who showed up in my recent video, features that I want back from Wild World.
Right.
Brewster, it's a crime not to give Brewster an amiibo figure, considering like he loves gyroids, which are just in-game figures.
Right.
It makes so much sense. What if a Brewster 5 pack and the other four
Ooh.
amiibo are his little gyroids?
Yes.
Yeah, adorable. The other two are Copper and Booker. Now this
Mm.
one's complicated because if you build a police station in your town, you have two options. You have the modern police station, and you have, what's the other one? Is it just like the rustic police station?
Yes. Mhm.
Um, if you build the modern one, you get Copper in your town. If you build the rustic one, you get Booker. And if you have Copper in your town, Booker shows up in a camper. If you have Booker in your town, Copper shows up in a camper.
Mhm.
But you can't see them both, which is a bummer. So
Right.
they need figures. Give them figures.
Yes.
The next one, Don Rossetti. We see Don Rossetti not too much, but he's Mr. Rossetti's brother, and he's a lot more calm and chilled out. Then we have Phineas, who gives us our badges whenever we, accomplish something.
Yes.
Phineas would have such a cool camper full of like really cool trinkets, I feel. Um, I would love to see Phineas's camper.
Yes.
And then the other one is Wisp. So Wisp is actually in control of your amiibo usage, but I feel like you should be able to just call on Wisp and he'd be like, you know what? You're right. I do need a vacation.
Right.
It makes sense. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that's the full list of special characters that we have in New Leaf currently who do not show up in campers, or only one of them shows up in your camper while the other doesn't.
Right. 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 So I count 21 in, most of these are in all the games. So they are really, really important characters that should have figures. I guess the question is how many, on which ones do we get first? Animal Crossing on the Switch should be a long-term seller, so we could just get different waves. It could be 3 waves of 7, and we could get the 21. And I'm sure, the new game is going to have new characters and new special characters too. So, I mean, give us all the amiibo. We're going to buy them.
Yeah, for sure. And that would make sense. Like give us like just a few more waves of amiibo. And I do want to point out like on this list, the two new characters are Leaf and Luna. I believe those are the two that we'd never seen before.
Hmm.
The others were introduced in earlier games.
Yes, right.
Yeah, even Phineas. Like Phineas showed up in City Folk.
Was
Or
Don Rossetti in City Folk?
Um, I think so. I think Don Rossetti shows up in City Folk.
Okay.
Mm, but maybe let's double check that and we'll, give
Right.
you guys an update next week if Don Rossetti was introduced in New Leaf. But I'm pretty sure that's a City Folk character. Other City Folk characters were Harriet.
Yes.
Um, was Katrina in it before? I think she was in Wild World.
I think
Uh,
so.
yeah, I think she was in Wild World. LaBelle was added in City Folk.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, I think the others were added before then.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So there's so many characters that we still need to see. And I guess the last thing I want to ask is how do you want Amiibo to function in the next game?
I know that's the tricky part because you want some good usage, but you also don't want to be all powerful. And if you already have all the figures or all the cards, and you're basically just able to do whatever you want, there has to be some sort of limitation. And I thought of one. For example, let's say we do get up to 15 villagers in Animal Crossing Switch. So maybe the first five would be right there from the get go. You know how you start a game and you would have 5 villagers. The sixth one would be up to you, be an amiibo card or figure. You could invite whichever character you wanted. That would be your sixth villager. Then after that, villager 7 through 13 would also be either random or be wireless communications, like if you pass next to a friend or somebody, or you visit a friend's town with somebody moving out. That's how you could get another one. And then 14 through 15 you could also do with amiibo, because by then you would have played a lot of the game, and it's fine if you're able to choose who you want. And then after that you can cycle them out as you please. I think that would be a nice balanced way to allow you to use the amiibo.
Yeah. Thinking of like a way to make that a bit easier, it makes sense like if it could be triggered like maybe you don't have that magic lamp at the very beginning of the game, you know?
Yes, right.
Like if they just had it like you hit that 13th villager and then all of a sudden you get the magic lamp wisp whispers to you and then gives you the lamp and then all of a sudden you have that open up that way
Yes.
like at least in the beginning of the game I would not scan in amiibo at the beginning of the game just because I love seeing how every day or every other day, somebody new moves in and you're like, oh, cool, I have a new friend to meet.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I just feel like you need to have like the experience of just meeting random villagers and then building relationships with them and being like, oh, yeah, I love that character. They're so cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't want the amiibo to like take away from that experience of seeing characters for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. And to me, that was a highlight of Pocket Camp. Finding out uh, villagers that were new to me or that I hadn't really gotten to know. And even though they are somewhat more generic than in the regular games, but getting to know them, getting to know their names and the species, it was awesome. So I definitely look forward to new characters and also getting to spend more time in a more traditional Animal Crossing setting with some of the villagers and characters that I haven't and spend more time with. Um, as far as more features that the amiibo could have in the new game, I was thinking something like they already done. If you scan a card, the the villager's home could be the one from Happy Home Designer if you happen to make it in that game. Or if you scan a figure, they could be wearing the outfit that you give them in Amiibo Festival, which that was a cool, neat little feature that the game added. Different outfits for some of the special characters, and maybe even the happy points that the figure has. I don't know how they could use those, but that could be a neat incentive as well.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I didn't really think of too many things to do with them. I was mostly distracted by like, I guess I don't want the option to use Amiibo from the get go, just
Yes.
because that's too much power for one person to like control exactly what characters you get from the very beginning. I'm sure some people would be really into it, but I don't know. I like the randomness of the beginning of the game.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I guess for me, the one thing I did think about is I want the camper feature to be expanded so that every amiibo brought in a camper to town. Um, Specifically because I think of characters like Marshall who have some sloppy series sets. And that's one of the sets that's really rare and it's really hard to get a hold of. And like it's a pretty random thing that would pop up in retail. Um, One way to get it would be like, buying it from their house when you go and visit, but sometimes they're like, no, I really like that item, I'm not selling it. So I
Right.
think it would be really cool if you could scan in Marshall, his camper shows up, and then that was your way of being able to get like the sloppy series.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'd like the camper feature to be expanded, but I do totally understand that there are 400 amiibo cards outside of like the 50 that already do the camper, and that's
Yes.
so much to program, so much to design, and so many little characters to build little campers for.
Right.
So yeah, it'd be a lot of work, but it'd be super fun too.
Right. Right. And they've been working on this for years, so maybe this is what's taking so long.
Yeah, there's so much that they could be putting into this game, and making it all HD too, and
Yes. Right.
beautiful. Yeah. So, anyways, that's our whole chat on Amiibo. Sergio, I think you were gonna close out with some really cool. I guess just talk about KK because he's got a birthday coming up.
That's right. So this coming Thursday, August 23, is KK Slider's birthday. If we go by his real world likeness, which is Kazumi Totaka, KK is going to be turning 51. So that is how old Totaka-san is turning. And I guess that also means that it's Kazumi Totaka's birthday. So happy birthday as well, Totaka-san. And I've had a lot of plans, and I actually talked to you about a bunch of them, like things that I wanted to do that are not only Animal Crossing related, but are KK centric, for KK Slider. And I guess I've spent more time thinking of more instead of working on the ones that I already thought about. So there's I don't have much for this year, but definitely for next year. I mean, I have a lot of plans in a whole year to work on them. So I'm looking forward to that. But we do have a special message for Totakeke, if we may call him by his non-artist name. So Totakeke, I know that in one way you're just a video game character. In another way, you are the video game representation of the composer Kazumi Totaka. But to many, and particularly to me, you are an icon. You are the most talented musician and a very down to earth and humble artist. I cannot thank you enough. You have seriously kept me going through some rough times, some really rough times, especially this year. But, and I know it sounds silly on the surface, but it's true. I'm saying it because to me it is true. So, Totakeke, here's to you and to your 51st birthday, and may you have the best birthday and a great year. And on behalf of me, Chewy, and everyone from Haken, happy birthday to KK Slider.
Happy birthday!
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, so great. So that's this Thursday.
Yes.
2 days away from this recording being
Right.
in people's ears. So yeah, maybe let's try to play a little. Let's go to KK, no, Club LOL and check out DJ KK's set that night.
Yes.
I'm down.
Ooh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, let's do some playtime then, and we'll have a good time. Maybe we'll get a video of it or something.
Nice. Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening. If you want to be part of this conversation on all things Animal Crossing, join the Discord. I have a link in the description of this podcast. It's totally free to join. You don't have to be a patron. And if you do join, you can get Sergio and my friend codes. If you do want to become a patron, visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. For just $1, you can support our show and get tons of cool things. My friend codes on 3DS, Wii U, Switch. You get early access to my new series that is kind of a diary. And I'm still planning out things to do a lot better on Patreon, but once they do happen, it's going to be cool. And Sergio, I know you can now make KK Slider versions of songs, and
Yes.
so that will be worked into the rewards too eventually.
Yes.
But yeah, we just really want to make this worth it because we appreciate your support, and yeah, we just want to make it awesome. If you are watching or listening on YouTube, please leave a comment about what you want to see as an Animal Crossing amiibo figure, card, or, just talk about what you want amiibo to do in the next game. And please leave a review for the show wherever you're listening. It helps the show gain some visibility and allows our community to grow. And once again, thank you all so much for listening. We hope you have a great week, and happy birthday, KK.
Goodbye, everybody.